Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Lost Limbs Paranormal Chat, or something along that line, anyway. So,
Something like that. Welcome to the show.
Mike, you got your ears working, so that's good.
My ears are working. I can hear you, so we're good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great. So,
yeah. Every now and then, these things kind of like disconnect on me, and I can't hear anything, so I have to go back and reconnect them. But I think we're good now.
what anything exciting going on at Rhodes or there with you this past weekend? I haven't talked to you since I think since last Tuesday, actually.
Yeah, we haven't talked very much. Yeah, we had some investigations and stuff over the weekend. I think everybody got some activity, so yeah, it wasn't too bad, and I think everybody was happy. So not too bad. How about yourself? Anything going on?
Now we had three of them over at Ashmore this past weekend,
Oh,
and I was over there doing some work and finally found some time to work on the little video camera system that we're trying to put in over there and get that up and running. But I still got a couple days. I got to finish off some wiring, and I think there's like 200 wires I got to do on each floor almost. So
is
it's
that
taking a
all?
little time. Yeah, just
It's,
small thing, little
it's
details, but
a couple hundred wires. No, nothing major.
yeah, and they suck because the insulation on those things is so small you can't even hardly get in there and take it off. But we'll get there. It's coming along. So we've got that, and then of course this
That's
weekend
good.
we're headed up to DeadCon, Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Yeah, DeadCon. That's gonna be fun. And the Mystery Machine will be there.
Yep, yeah, we're gonna have that up there,
Yeah,
and it's gonna be a long a long trip up that way, and but it'd be a lot of fun.
yeah,
There'll be a lot of people there. So if you're in the
yeah,
area of Fort Wayne, Indiana this weekend, stop over and see us all at DeadCon.
yeah. I'll be catching a ride with you when we go
Yep,
for the
yeah, that's right. I'll
weekend.
pick you up, and we'll head up that way, and then Crystal, whether she wants to or not, is gonna, she might have to bring you back whether she likes it or not, but that's all right. We
Yeah,
could torture
yep.
her or something. We'll just take her car keys.
Yeah, there you go. Just take the keys, and I
Yeah,
can just kick back in the Mustang and drive back.
that's right.
She
We'll just
won't
leave her
mind.
up there. Yeah, that's all
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Just hot
So,
rod the Mustang coming back. No big deal.
but it's it's that time in the year when everybody's out there doing the paranormal thing. Even a lot of new people out there, which is great. Got a lot of respect for those that want to start off and everything. But at the same
Yeah.
time, don't break into these buildings. Don't go into them. Stay out of them. If you don't have permission to get inside of them, just don't do it. It's not worth the police record you're going to get and all the expenses you're going to
Yes.
incur.
Yes, exactly. Do it the right way if you want to go visit some of these actual haunted locations. Yeah, do it the right way. It's not worth it trying to sneak in and break in and do damage to these places.
Yeah, we're working. I'm still working on the one from 18 months ago at Ashmore, where the three minors and six adults broke in. It's going to cost them close to $5,000 for the 20 minutes they spend in there, or for $500, they could have spent 15 hours. So
Yeah,
it doesn't make a lot of sense. Why break into someplace when it's
yeah,
cheaply available to you?
exactly. Yeah, so much cheaper doing it that way, and you don't have to worry about things being broken and any kind of damage like that. Which is there was damage. I mean, when you had all this stuff happen, which sucks.
Oh yeah, but you've still got a couple overnights coming up here too, now, don't you? Or at least one anyway.
Yes, next weekend, not this coming weekend, but next weekend, the 22nd, 23rd, we have a public overnight that we're doing here at Rhodes Hotel. And then Saturday, the 23rd, we have a public investigation that's going on. So there's still tickets left for these, so you guys can still get those booked and come out and see us. Of course, I won't be here that weekend, but come out and book and stay at the hotel anyway.
Oh yeah, and yeah, that'd be great. To spend the night there and have a good time with that. And we've got Ghost Hunt USA coming up this weekend at the Ashmore Friday and Saturday night. And I think they still, I think Saturday night may be sold out. I'm not sure, but you can go to ghosthuntusa.com and check it out. And we've got a public investigation during the day, but it's sold out. I know that it's our own. And most of our events, I think all of our public investigations for the rest of the year are sold out. They're done. We other than Tennessee Ray Chasers are going to be in there in they're the 13th of November when we're in Grand Rapids, but Tennessee Ray Chasers will be at Ashmore then, so there's
Yeah,
still tickets available with that.
and it's
And,
not too much further down the road. You're going to be wrapping up for the rest of the year.
yeah, we actually have people booked to December 11th.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. Okay.
yeah. It's like I explained to him, like there's no water heating that building, so
Yeah.
that'll be
Yeah.
fun.
Kind of on your own.
Yeah,
Yep.
Philip. Yeah, we're gonna see you this weekend, Philip. You and Christopher. So looking forward to that. Seeing you
Yes.
guys up
What's
that
going
way.
on, Phil? Yeah.
And
Be nice to see him.
but yeah, I see that Barry's here. He's on time. It's nice to see our second week in a row. It's like,
Two in a row.
yeah, we're on a roll now because we've been kind of in trouble with that. It's either Wi-Fi problems or somebody got busy on the set, and yeah, it's kind of crazy. So
Our show is cursed.
yeah, exactly. So fortunately tonight we've got Barry Kling coming with us, and we'll bring him in here and I can change this around a little bit. There we go. Hey Barry, what's going on?
What's going on? You hear me?
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
hear you
what's
great.
going on? Yep.
Oh, not much. I can hang up and call back if you want me to be late. If you want, I can keep your show
Go
consistent.
back. Keep the trend going, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's kind of sucks. All Birch ran into a problem with he was all set to go and then his Wi-Fi shut down and he was in New Mexico or someplace. And he had no signal other than Wi-Fi and couldn't get into us.
Cool. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on. Yeah, we appreciate it.
So what's new in the eyes with Everyday Paranormal and Ghost Lab? We see you guys posting stuff out there now that things are going on and some stuff happening. So tell us what's going on.
Absolutely nothing. We're just teasing people. No, just
okay. Well, have a nice night, Barry. Goodbye.
Thanks for joining the show. We'll see you.
Yeah. No, we got a lot of stuff going on actually. So as you've seen, we posted about a few weeks back. We're starting a podcast. Everyday Paranormal, the podcast that comes out. The first show will be out on Halloween. It's a little different. It's not like our Death, Texas, and Tacos. We did that for a while. It was fun. We got some things off our chest, but we've regrouped. We're refreshed, and we're ready to get back at it like we used to, the old school Ghost Lab, Everyday Paranormal way. And we're going to talk about anything and everything, but particularly we're going to talk about all the investigations we've ever been on, and also the investigations that we're going to be going on in the future. And it's kind of like a true crime meets paranormal. We're going to really go into depth on all the investigations, talk about the history, dive into the things that we found, go down the different rabbit holes that we went to, what we did wrong, what we could do better next time, funny moments, talk about our experiment, maybe some experiments we wanted to do, we couldn't do, and of course the evidence. So it's going to be very investigation heavy. It's very, like I said, true crime type feel where we're talking about the investigation rather than just, the funsies of the investigation. But it's really going to get back to old school practices, theories, the way that we started. And that's that we're going back. We're going full circle. We're going right back to where we started.
That's cool. I mean, I really enjoyed watching Ghost Lab on TV because you always went a little bit further into why things happened and this should have happened, or you could just pretty much tell that you guys were into it for more the investigation side of it than the TV side of it.
Yeah, TV's TV. Like I said, without TV though, we wouldn't be able to do the things we do with Ghost Lab. Getting into Alcatraz and some of these places that it would be impossible for us to get in as just regular Joes off the street. But when you have a big network behind you, flipping the bill, paying the checks, and you can get into places like that. But it allowed us to be on that worldwide stage to show we've been doing that years prior to getting a TV show. That's how we operated, and it gave us a chance to kind of show the world of how we do things, and not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent or the only way, but it was our way. We had a chance to show the public that, and just till today. So it's like last week was the premiere of Ghost Lab, 11 years ago or 12 years ago, and it was kind of surreal. It's been a long time since Ghost Lab came out, but we've been going after it ever since, and we've never gone away. We might seem like we have, may laid low a little bit, but we've been writing books and documentaries and events and lectures, and we're still at it. And this last couple of months we kind of gotten refreshed a little bit. Where we went through some trials with the local networks about some possible TV projects. Didn't work out, which is actually a good thing for our case. So we're going to do things our own, and the podcast is just one thing. We have a whole plethora full of stuff that we're going to do. Video, YouTube stuff. We're going to be doing documentaries. We're going to be doing. I even get on TikTok and dance a little bit. We never know. So
Oh no.
we're going to be hitting social media pretty hard. We've actually signed an agreement with a ArcLight Media, which is a podcast media company, and they have several true crime podcasts that they have developed. They've been doing it for like 6 or 7 years. Super successful. So it's a win-win situation for us. We're crazy busy with our regular lives. My job, Brad's job, Katie's life. It's very hectic and busy, and they're actually going to be doing a lot of the technical work, the editing, things like that for us, so that we can just sit here and pump out content and not have to worry about all that. So it's going to be very original. It's going to be us, just like we are, joking and laughing and having a good time, but also getting very serious about our investigation. It's very entertaining and very knowledgeable. A lot of information is going to get thrown at you. Right now, it's going to be once a week. It might be every other week, just depends on the schedule. But like I said, the first one comes out Halloween Day, October 31st this year, which will be up there in Wisconsin with you at that time.
That's right. Yep. Now, where's it going to be seen at? Where can they go to find it?
Everywhere. Anywhere you find your podcast. So Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast. There's like 15 different platforms that it's put out on. So when it gets closer, we're actually going to be recording our first show this week. Actually, tomorrow, I think. We're going to record the first one, and we'll do a couple of them to kind of get in the bag, and we'll go through the process of editing. It's going to be a trial and error type thing for the first one. We want to get it perfect. And so we'll bounce some things back and forth with the editors and get it just perfect. But yeah, when the announcement comes where I can say where it's all being available, there's like 15 different platforms, so you will not miss out on the podcast. And then now we're doing things different. I talked to you a little bit about it about a month ago. So I know video is a big thing. It's an audio only podcast. So wherever it's driving to work or you're working out or whatever you can listen to our podcast. Now, there will be a video component. It won't be the podcast, but we're doing some video stuff. That's a whole other campaign. We actually just kind of started that this weekend. We're up in Gettysburg. We went to Pennsylvania for an event at the Hoover House in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. And while we're there, my brother and my son were with me. We went to Antietam. It was the first time we ever been there. And then we jotted on down to Gettysburg. And we had this kind of like epiphany, like, oh, this is what we should be doing. So I'll leave it at that. It's kind of a super secret right now, but the things that we found and the things that we caught are crazy, and it really blew our minds. That it was like, hey, we haven't lost our touch, so hey, we're back at it. We're going to be finding some really, really cool evidence and some really good stories. So it's a lot of storytelling too, history, and just our personal experience that we experienced on the battlefields and everywhere else we're going to go. So
that's great. Yeah, it sounds like. Anybody that's ever sat in on your seminars or anything like that, or anytime you guys are doing Brad talks or something like that at different events, you're always probably some of the favorites there, just because you're so real with everything, and it's so you just lay it on the line, and I think that's what most people really enjoy hearing and seeing and everything. The true people that you guys are comes across real quick, and when they meet you and talk to you.
Yeah. We're real. We lay like I said, laid on the line. We don't sugarcoat stuff. That's probably why we don't have a TV show. But we tell it like it is, and if you don't like it, sorry. It's just the way we're gonna be truthful with you, and the things that we put out are 100% true, and the way you see it's the way it happened. And we've always, I was raised that way, and so that the stuff that was instilled in me and Brad is growing up. That's the way we operate. We go on handshakes. We go on, our word, and we've been working with you and for a long time on different things, and we have a great relationship, and it's just how we operate. And and the other thing too, it's Ghost Lab. When we got done with Ghost Lab, I was done. I was tired. I was like, you want to be a rock star. I turned 53 this year, and it's like I just couldn't. I was 40 something back then. It got tiring. Being on the road, rental cars, hotels, fast food. I gained so much weight. We're Bree and Brad are both fat dudes, but it's like we got even fatter during Ghost Lab because it's just the lifestyle. And when we left, we actually left Deadwood. That was our last episode, And I was like, man, I hope I don't see a haunted house for a long, long, long time. It just wore us out. But I think the fun was gone. When it's more like a job, and it was a job. We're working, 15, 16-hour days every day, and then traveling a whole bunch. It just wasn't fun. And so we kind of regrouped. We've reconnected with Katie. She's out in LA, and we kind of we talked, and we kind of ironed out some things, and said, hey, let's get the band back together, and let's make it fun again. And this weekend was perfect. It was super fun. My son was there his first time. He's been to our Ghost Lab when he was a little kid. He visited the set, things like that, but he's never really been investigating. He was our film. He was filming us, and he was going over EVPs and stuff that we caught, and he was blown away. So it was really cool to see, the next generation of Klings kind of like, wow, this is pretty cool. But it was fun. We were laughing and joking and slapping high five in the hotel room and getting excited when we heard something. That hasn't been that way in a long, long time. And it was really, really good to have that come back. And the old Kling brothers, the way it started is back, and we're coming at you. I mean, we're going all out. We're going to be bringing a lot of cool stuff to you. We got the support from our family. We talked it over with them because people don't realize to make these videos and to do these podcasts, like you said, it takes time. It takes time out of your lives that you're not doing other things, but they're going to be involved a little bit, and we have their support. So we're ready to get out there, ready to some kick ass and take some names.
One cool thing I want to throw in there just to add is, like, since we're talking about Ghost Lab, people that haven't seen all these episodes, they can go to Discovery Plus and actually watch those episodes.
Yep, all the episodes are there except about 6 of them. And I have no idea why those 6 are not on there because, streaming, you got to do is throw a link up there and that's all you got to do. But I think, and one of the John Wilkes Booth is not on there, which surprised me. That's probably our most requested or watched episode of all of our episodes. That's not on there. So I'm not sure. I don't have Discovery Plus. Brad kind of fills me in, but we're trying to figure out which 6 are not on there. And maybe we'll write them a letter or something, but not that they're going to answer us, but.
Well, you never know. Who owned the episodes?
Everything's Ghost Lab is owned by Discovery.
Okay.
Only things we own. We owned all the evidence. We collected it. That's our evidence. We own the name to Everyday Paranormal. That's us, and that's what Ghost Lab was about. But as far as Ghost Lab, footage of Ghost Lab, things like that, it's all Discovery owns all that.
Yeah, I was just thinking maybe that whoever owned it wasn't going to sell to them, but if Discovery owned it, then obviously they didn't have to worry about buying it. They already owned it. So.
Well, that's funny. They do that also when you see like marathons come out every once in a while. There's like they play the most odd episodes. They're all good, I think, but just some are better than others. But they play the ones that I would never pick to put on a marathon. But I don't know what their train of thought is when they start picking out these episodes. But oh well, we're just glad that they are still being seen. I know people are getting tired of as Brad commented on me. Brad's on here, so he's probably going to give me a ration of shit.
So,
but so we don't know. I don't know why they picked those episodes.
Is Taco and Texas is still on there someplace, or
Death, Texas, and Tacos is you might be able to find it somewhere. It's been locked up and under lock and key, but because that podcast was actually really cool. We actually did very well. We had a lot of success, a lot of views, a lot of downloads. But it was just we were a little bitter at the time. We're kind of, every once in a while, get a little bitter. We like to voice our opinions, but it also gets us in trouble. But that was our way of kind of entertaining and just kind of being funny and poking fun. Poking fun at the paranormal is what I think the business needs. Everyone's just so uptight and so stiff about it. It's like we're just kind of poking fun at shows and making fun of people. And, some people liked it, some people didn't like it. But I thought it was super entertaining. But it was kind of a chore because Brad was editing the whole thing. So we're throwing sound effects and music and transitions and commercials and voiceovers. And it got to be where, oh man, we're trying to pump out these things once a week, and it's hard because he just can't. There's not enough days and the hours in the day to do it. So it's just tough. That's why we're glad with ArcLight Media now, because it takes that whole thing off our plate, and we can just concentrate on making good content.
I couldn't imagine having to do all that. I mean, yourself. I mean, you go out, you film the episodes, and you have to come back in. You have to do all the voiceovers, and you have to do all the editing. And oh,
Yeah, even Ghost Lab, we didn't do the editing stuff, but Ghost Lab. So you go out and you film for 3 days, and then when they start getting those episodes together, like in a raw, like a first cut, then you have to go what's called pickups. You go somewhere, and all right, guys, now you're at Alcatraz, and we need a transition line here, or we need a team meeting to go over this evidence because we have nothing to transition from this scene to the next scene. It's an ongoing thing, and people, people in the non-TV world, a lot of times they don't know how TV's made, and it's constant. Every day you're trying to fill in those episodes, and unfortunately, a lot of times, Brett, well, all the time, we weren't part of the editing. We didn't tell them, hey, we use this or use that. On Thursday night when it came out, that's what we saw, just like everybody else. And sometimes they got it right, and sometimes they didn't get it so right. So, but that's just but in this case, with our podcast, we have full creative control. We have, hey, let's use this, don't use this. And so it's a partnership. And if we're successful, they're successful, and vice versa.
That works. Charles, the reboot of Ghost Hunters is been canceled, so no sense really kind of rehashing that whole thing. But if you can find some of the old episodes those guys did, they did talk about the reboot of Ghost Hunters on there, and I don't know that Barry wants to comment on it. Like, so they kind of
we made fun of the Ghost Hunters, the A&E Ghost Hunters. We made fun of a couple episodes, but like I said, I know those guys. I know Grant, I know Brian. It's almost like if you get made fun of, that's actually, to me, it's a compliment, I guess, a little bit. But we tore them up a little bit, but whatever. It's we weren't hiding behind anything. And I mean, honestly, I don't, I'm not gonna get too much into it, but I don't know, it was maybe wrong time, wrong people. I don't know. I just, and A&E, the problem is A&E, they have not done paranormal in a long time. Paranormal State was pretty much the last thing they did. And so A&E's idea of ratings is a lot different than Travel's idea of ratings. I mean, a lot different. If you're not making it into the high, like the 1 point something or the point, nines, travel shows are getting like 0.1s because it's a smaller channel. A&E's a gigantic channel. And if you're not cutting what their standard is, you're not going to. And no fault to them. I just don't think the paranormal crowd is not watching A&E. I think that's what happened. And unfortunately, we were in the mix to we had a show coming out on A&E. It was depending on how the other shows did. And unfortunately, they didn't do well. And so A&E pulled the plug on every single paranormal project, even ones that were already filmed, ready to air. They pulled the plug. They never saw the light of day. And then our project was shot out too. So that's TV. I mean, it's cutthroat. It's a business. It's, even though you might think you have the best show in the world, it's a business. If it's not bringing in advertising dollars, you're not going to be around a long time. So,
yeah, I always kind of thought that the Ghost Hunters reboot had 3 mistakes. They probably should have never called it Ghost Hunters. Mm-hmm. They should not have probably showed all the episodes of the former Ghost Hunters show, which had 75% of the people from Ghost Nation on a different network. And they probably had too many people on the show itself because you never had a chance to really get to know them.
Yeah, it was a big cast. Even Ghost Lab, we had 4, 5, 6 people, and but the way they did Ghost Lab was a lot of times their shots are either setting up equipment, seeing them in the lab. They investigated. A lot of times you didn't see that. I mean, most of the time you didn't see it on TV. They were investigating with us as well. You just didn't see it. But Ghost Hunters was everybody got their spot, and then you really kind of lost like the purpose or where the show was going because there's so much stuff thrown in your face in an hour. But like I said, cool location they went to. I mean, I think it was a good idea. But now you have the diehard Ghost Hunter fans. The original team's not there, and that's what they want. And it's kind of like the Dukes of Hazzard, the cousins show up, when Dukes of Hazzard go or Fonzie jumping the shark, kind of it's just not working, or working Mindy visit Happy Days. It's kind of like a network's last ditch, hey, we got to make this thing work, and it just doesn't. I'll be interested to see the new Ghost Hunters come out, with on the Halloween. And I have noticed that they're doing a lot of I think they've learned a few things from the other ones. I think we're going to see like Amy Brune, some of the old Ghost Hunter, Dustin Perry, and those guys on the show, because they are all related to the old Ghost Hunters. And you still have Dustin Perry fans. You have, Amy Bruni fans. You have, all these different fans. I think that's what they're counting on for all those people to watch that show. So I'll be curious to see what their ratings are the following day.
Yeah, Mike, I think Dustin told us he's on the first episode, didn't he?
He is.
Yeah, I think it's his first episode. Yeah.
Him, Dustin, Amy Bruni, and Adam Berry, they're all on the first episode.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Bringing the whole group back together one big time.
The whole group. Yeah, I talk to Jason probably once a week. Kind of just talk about whatever, but he kind of fills me in what's going on the show and where they're at and where they're filming. They're done filming. I'm not sure how many episodes they had, but they're completed and they'll have pickups and stuff like that to do. But it's ready to go. October 31st. So we'll see.
Yeah, it should be an interesting day. It's going to be full of paranormal stuff on TV and all, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, 'tis the season, so October is a busy month for everybody in the ghost world.
Most favorite month.
So yeah, Pete was kind of agreeing with you earlier when we were talking about the editing and evidence review. And if it doesn't take longer than your investigation, you're doing something wrong, I think.
Yeah, and then Ghost Lab, we really tried probably 80% of the time. We did all of our evidence review there. I mean, that's why we had live stuff with my Barry cam where you can actually see it in the Ghost Lab, and then we had multiple recorders where we would do an EVP session or two and bring them out to the lab and get more recorders and go in with those while they're reviewing them. Because our idea was, we want to be there. We don't want to be back at the hotel at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. and we find this really cool piece of evidence and we couldn't act upon it, or we couldn't try to, do some correlation or maybe an experiment. So if we could try to catch it in the moment or very close to the moment, it's better for us to be, correlate evidence. What was EMF like? What was this like? So that's why we did what called the real time monitoring. But we did probably about 80% of the time. There's sometimes it wasn't physically possible, but for the most part, everything was gone over while we were on location.
That was one thing you and Brad talked about when you were here. I don't know, it's probably been 5 or 6 years ago now. It's like reviewing your evidence while you're at the location, just doing an EVP session and then reviewing it. And it makes total sense. I'm not sure why more people don't do that, because it doesn't make any sense to me to wait until you get everything home and then let's do it all then.
Right. I mean, you only have, most instances, it's not like a TV show where you're there for 3 days. You're there for like 4 or 5 hours. And so you got to make the best of it while you're there. If you can have, if I was, starting over again, I'd have like this little room, like your headquarters room, but you're reviewing evidence there. So this team brings back, you're going over EVPs while the other team goes and starts investigating, so that, hey, when you're on that last, EVP session, you caught this and we got this name. Let's go back over there and see if we, that it's an active investigation, just like our podcast. It's very true crime. It's like you're investigating a crime or some sort of, homicide scene or something. You're constantly trying to gather information while it's still fresh and not cold. So when you get home, you're like, oh, that's cool, but we can't get back in there. So that's all we get. So.
Yep. I always tell people that, and you can relate to this, it's like going out fishing. If you're at a spot where you're fishing, you're catching fish one right after the other, you're not going to leave. You're not going to move.
Yeah.
So
you never leave. You never leave. You're catching fish. That's the number one rule.
Why do the same thing when you're out investigating? If you're getting something out of one spot in one room in the imminent Waverly Hills, why would you want to leave? Just stay with it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I got to ask, if you had any location in the world that you could go investigate, where would you
go? Probably the Alamo. Just because it's sacred ground here in Texas. You can't, there's probably no way. We got close, not the Alamo. We investigated the Presidio La Vigía, which is also another mission fort that was part of the Texas Revolution, and it's actually controlled by the same people who control the Alamo. And we did a Ghost Lab episode there, and so there's possibilities, but that place is it's like Fort Knox. It's very hard, but you just the history and the stuff that's in that place is probably off the chart. Of course, there's 20 ghost tours in town that walk around the Alamo every night, but actually being in the church and being around the relics and all that be really really cool. The White House
Yeah.
is probably another one to be kind of cool. Probably
Yeah.
the most haunted house in the world.
That would be
Just
cool.
just to get things like that. I love after this weekend. I think we're going to hit all the Civil War battlefields. I mean, I just the audio and and when we first started up until now, even through Ghost Lab, our prior fortes audio, we get really, really good audio, EVPs and sounds and things like that. And I think that's the most compelling of it. I think it's the coolest. You get this voice or this drum beat or this flute or whatever coming out
Yeah.
of thin air or something. Like how's that happen? And so that's we're very into audio. So of course, you like the ghost picture, you like the video. Those are all cool, but those are kind of those are few and far between. But the audio is, especially really good audio, is what excites me. And I don't know about Brad, but that's kind of like our thing is the audio part of it. But yeah, the White House be cool, the Alamo be cool. I'd like to go over to. I've been to Europe and all that when I was in the Navy, but like Ireland, like going back to where like over here we're talking 1700s ish, 1600, and then over there you're like 1200,
Yeah.
BC, and you're like it's an apartment. You're like, whoa. I mean, that's a crazy, like Tower of London and things like that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, some of the castles and stuff would be
Mhm.
awesome, I think, too.
So have you been in the basement of the Alamo?
I have not. Pee Wee Herman's his bike was down there. That's where he held his bike in it. The Alamo in the basement. I don't know if he even has a basement. I know that the Alamo actually, if you go to the Alamo, sometimes a lot of people are disappointed because the facade is original, but of course it didn't have a roof on it. Back in the day, they put a roof on it. It used to be a police station in there at one time, back in like the 40s. So it's the only thing that's original is I think is the front of the church and some of the long barracks, and that is the only original stuff of the Alamo. Everything else has just been obliterated. In fact, the Mexicans. Funny, I'll tell you a quick ghost story. So the Alamo is actually still there because of ghosts. Santa Ana. He was so pissed off the Alamo. He just wanted that. He wanted that place just wiped off the face of the earth. So he ordered his couple troops to go down there and burn it, just destroy it. And so when they went down there, they were met by spirits waving ghost or flaming swords, telling them to get away from the Alamo. Well, those people went back and reported to Santa Ana that of the story. And you think about it, if you disobeyed orders back then, you were going to be you're killed. And had it pretty compelling or pretty true for those troops to go back to Santa Ana to tell them that. And that's the story of why the Alamo is still standing, because of ghost. Actually, Ghost of the Defenders or somebody told them to stay away from the Alamo, which they did.
So you've been down to Kentucky to Perryville to investigate it all?
I have not. I have not. We've been to Scarefest, Kentucky. I don't think we've ever actually investigated ever in Kentucky.
Now, this one here is the somebody tossed a question in there. That's a tough one to answer, really.
Yeah, how many people for an investigation? Yeah, well, it depends on a lot of things. One is size. How big is the place? Can we fit in X amount of people in this giant, like a prison? Yeah, we can get more people in there. Or is it grandma's 1-bedroom house? That's probably the first question. How big is the place? Two is, of course, the more people you have, the more chaos you can drive, drum up and be bleeding over each other and running into each other. That's why I always like to have it where when we investigate. So the whole idea of Ghost Lab was, we never had a van or a trailer, but we always put our stuff outside. We always had our headquarters outside. Everyone was outside. Only the people that were investigating were the ones inside. And so when they were done, they would come out, and then we would send more people in. And so, of course, the least amount of people you can have, the better. You're just not going to get some of the bleed over and some of the false positives, things like that. But if you have a big place, you're going to need more people to cover more ground. You can go in different places all at one time. So it's kind of like I said, it's kind of a double-ended question, I guess. A lot of variables for that.
Yeah, I kind of when I'm out investigating a lot, especially if there's quite a few people there, I just as soon sit outside or sit someplace in a room by myself, and especially if people have SD cards in the recorder, say, "Give me your SD card. I'll listen to everything you just did. I'll let you know when you come back. Bring me another one, and we'll just kind of rotate it through. That way, if you catch stuff, I can tell you right off the bat, hey, you want to go back here and check this out because this is going on." So, I think that's a big part of the investigation too.
Yeah, we were famous for Ghost Lab to walk in a room and find the couch and chair and sit down. And the camera guys used to say, "What are y'all doing?" It's like, we're investigating. This is how we investigate. We just kind of sit here and listen. And like, man, that's not very active. And I said, well, that's how we do it. I mean, that's part of how we do it. We're not running around, walk around all night long. We sit and listen or whatever. This is how you find stuff.
That's why I tell people that come up to Ashmore all the time. They want to know what to do. I'm like, just find a spot that's comfortable, sit down, and see what happens. Give it some time. See what they may just come to you. Did you guys have any investigations with Ghost Lab where you just thought you had way too many people, but you controlled everything yourself, so did you?
Yeah, like I said, fortunately we had the Ghost Lab. Everyone just, if you're not in the house, you're in the Ghost Lab. And so, but the thing about TV is, Brad and I are not the only ones in there.
Right.
There's 2 camera guys, there's an audio guy, there's a producer running around with the monitor, there's probably an electrician kind of hanging around somewhere for lighting and stuff. So there's 5 or 6 of us in there, just though you might see just me and Brad investigating, but we probably had 15, 16 people traveling with us on this show. And they're all over. You'll walk around a corner and there's the producer, tucked in a closet, watching the monitor of the cameras, or you'll walk around, there's the electrician hiding in the bathroom or something. And so it's funny, a lot of times we would purposely like walk towards the people because they had to scramble so they're not in the camera shot. And the audio guy's running down the hallway trying to hide. It's like a big game of hide and go seek. So we used to do that on purpose. It was a little comical.
So what got you into the paranormal field to begin with?
Probably Brad. But as a kid, I used to check out the ghost books at in the library at school, and had a couple experiences just like any other person would. But it was probably 2006, 2007, and Brad was kind of getting into it. In fact, Brad belonged to him and another guy belonged to another team. It was a San Antonio team, unbeknownst to me. Before Ghost Lab, I really didn't hang out with Brad. He had his thing, I had my thing. We actually lived on the same street. Family gatherings, things like that, we would see each other. Other than that, we didn't hang out at all. But it was at he went to Alcatraz on a business trip, and he went over on the twilight or the evening tour of Alcatraz, and he bought his first audio recorder at Radio Shack. He bought it on the way there. He went out there, and the boat that was coming to pick him up has some mechanical problems, so they're going to be there a little while. And so he asked the guard if he could go in and kind of hang out by himself. So he went down. He said, "Yeah, go ahead." So he walked in, and he went down to solitary confinement, and he caught like 3 or 4 really, really cool EVPs. And so I'm at fast forward, we're at a birthday party at his house, his daughter's party, and he's like, "Man, check these things out I caught out in Alcatraz." And I listened to him. I was like, "You gotta be shitting me." And like that's like, no, this ain't real. And like one was like, a guy talking to him and telling him like he's in cell block 10, and you hear doors slamming down the corridor and people yelling down the corridor, and it's like, whoa, this is some crazy crap. So we started talking a little more. He's like, "Man, I'm thinking about forming my own team. I'm on a team now, but they're a bunch of morons, and I just don't get along with them, and it's just hectic. Let's form my own thing. You want to do it?" I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." So I joined, and his friend Steve Harris, it was on the show, he joined. And so it was just kind of some friends and some coworkers. And then our very first investigation went on at the Fort Sam Houston Army base. Went to old dinner theater, used to be the NCO club. And oh my God, we got a chair moving on video. We got shadow people, full color apparitions. We got crazy EVPs all in one night. And I'm like, yep, we're hooked. And so from everything, it was probably once a week. Once a week, we were going somewhere, and TV stations, bars, restaurants, libraries, office buildings, you name it, we were going to it. and it quickly turned into like this obsession, just constantly just going over evidence and printing out the T-shirts and the whole thing that everyone, all the other groups, how they start. And but yeah, it was Brad kind of just talking to me, showing me those, or listen to those EVPs that he got from Alcatraz is kind of what kickstarted. But that very first investigation is probably what got me hooked. I don't know if we would have gone there and caught zero, nothing happened. I might not be here today. I don't know. I might say that you're full of shit and just move
Like,
on.
I'm not wasting my time.
Yeah. In fact, we had a psychic on our team. She called herself a white witch or something. I'm like, who the hell are you hanging out with, Brad? I was like, what the hell is this? I was just like, this is crazy. So me and Harris would be out in the parking lot. It's like, man, you believe this shit? What's going on? Man, I don't know. We were very skeptical. Like, this is a bunch of crap. But we both, even when Harris, that was his first time, we're like, dang, this is pretty cool. And we just, I mean, it just, I don't know why we caught such good stuff. I don't know if it's just because we're brothers or just lucky. I don't know. But man, the stuff we caught was, to this day, I don't think I've ever heard anything better on any show, even Ghost Lab. All of our stuff before Ghost Lab was way better than Ghost Lab. We had some really, really, really cool stuff, and the experiences that we had it was fun. Like I said before the show, but of course we got the show, and then everything after that's about. So
what do you think about the question there about holding large hunts?
Let's see. Do you think it's dangerous holding large amounts of inexperienced people who sometimes get in and provoke? The large ones. So you got to differentiate what an investigation is or what an event is. And we have that. We kind of keep our events, like the event we just did. We had 20 people there. It's just that's just how we do it. But I've been to events, so there's 100 people there, and it's an event. People have to realize that when they're spending their money. And unfortunately, people call them investigations. It's an event. It's just a get together to kind of experience and talk about things of a common thing that we share, the love of the paranormal. But the people that go in and provoke, and I'll talk about provoking. That's probably the number one thing that people say, especially Brad. And he's a loud mouth. He's always yelling and screaming, and which they focused a lot of that on Ghost Lab because that's entertaining, and that's what that's maybe 5% of what we did in the actual investigation, but they made it look like that's what we did. But the provoking is actually a technique that we use. It's not what we're saying. It's not get your dirty. It's not that. It's the volume of our voice. It's the vibration of our voice. We're almost like shaking EVPs out of the walls. It's that infrasound that people talk about that we're actually using with our voice, and it works. I mean, when we get loud and yell, and we have loud voices just talking, it gets results, and so it has a purpose. Now, if we're in a prison and there's some child molester, are we going to be nice? No, we're going to get dirty and nasty, and because we're talking about the situation. But if we're in grandma's house and she's baking cookies, I'm not going to call her a dirty SOB that your cookies suck and blah 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 blah. It fits the situation. But you think about it, we actually did this up in, I don't know if you sat in our lecture at Michigan Paracon, Robin.
Yeah. No, I didn't miss. Didn't do that.
So we do a lot of visuals. So we show people about EVPs and how we think they work. So we got this rope, real long. It's probably 50, 60-foot rope. Brad was on one end, I'm on the other end. And he thinking about a wave. And so I shook the rope a little bit. And my wave went like 4 feet and died. It just barely went. But if I really shake the rope hard, my wave goes all the way to Brad. So who's to say if we're trying to get across this, I'm air quoting, veil, it might be hard for them to hear what we're saying. So you got to bring up the volume a little bit. So my chances, I have better chances to get my message across to whoever I'm talking to or whatever I'm talking to if I'm loud and I'm kind of yelling. I'm not yelling because I'm being disrespectful. I'm yelling because I need to get my point across to where they're at. Same thing with on the other side. You might get a whisper that says, hi, but they might have yelled that. It ended up a whisper. And we always give the example. So when you're looking for, say you got a little kid lost in the woods, are you going to go around the woods going, Johnny, can you hear me, Johnny? You're like, Johnny, because you up your odds of Johnny hearing you. And that's why we yell. That right there is the number one reason why we use our loud voices, because it gets the message across. And that vibration, and we have, I mean, I can't count how many times that it works. Or even making a loud bang, like, clap your hands, or you bang something. A lot of times we'll get an EVP right after that bang or that clap or that yell that like kicks it off. And that is the reason. It's, we go into theories about it, the infrasound theories and natural recording phenomena. That these things, time is recorded, voices, video, all this stuff is recorded somehow. And when the time is right, if the amplitude is right, if the vibrations are correct, you get the playback. And that's what EVPs are. It's not, most EVPs are not some invisible man talking to you. It's actually a natural phenomenon that we just haven't figured out yet. And that's what we're trying to do. That's the fun part, trying to figure out how this stuff works. And that's where we want to take the paranormal. How does this stuff work? Why does it work? What's it doing? Not just because I got this cool EVP and we all go and have a beer afterwards and we're all good. We're slapping high five. It's why. How's this happening? How come I can get a voice to say I don't like fish and I don't like birds, like one of our EVPs is like, how does that come across in the middle of this empty mansion in St. Louis? How's it happen? So that's what gets us excited. That's what gets us moving forward to kind of helping not prove the paranormal, be proved, but maybe answering some questions of how it works. And we've actually shown it can be predictable. And with EMF, we've done some stuff with EMF and EVPs where, every time there's an EVP, if you look, that's why data loggers are important. Nobody uses them. I don't know why. We use them in Ghost Lag. That was our best piece of equipment. They collect data every 3 seconds. We can show in a 24-hour period how much EMF was coming, where the spikes were, what time they were, all this stuff. We'd find the spike and then go find the EVP. We go backwards. And almost every time when we do that way, there's an EVP. And so EVPs, and we found that EVPs and EMF correlate. And so just something cool like that is like, it can be predictable. You can kind of figure out maybe when the EVP is going to happen. So that's what we're all about. It's kind of like that, a lot of people think that's boring. They want the kind of the creep factor and the shock value, which is why, this past, run around with the TV network, that's what they wanted from us. And that's not us. Of course, we like being scared and like scary places. And that kind of helps helps your attitude or your, whatever. But, the content, that's just not us. We're more into I think it's scarier, to figure out how these things really work. I think that's more interesting than anything.
Oh yeah. If anybody's trying to figure out what you're talking about as far as being loud and everything, if you just stand in front of somebody and basically have them yell some just even sweet thoughts to you, you can feel that vibration in your body when they're yelling at you versus when they're just talking to you. You feel that so much more. So that's why, I don't think it's a bad idea at all. You're talking loud. If you're saying things that are provoking, some spirit or anybody's going to know that. But if you're just talking loud, it's going to be like, maybe you'll get that person say, "Shut up! I'm standing right next to you." But
right.
But yeah, it's like you can feel that vibration when you're talking loud.
And we're very respectful people. And like you said, when you hear us calling somebody out or getting mean and nasty, the people that we're calling on are nasty people in life. And to us, if you're nasty in life, you're nasty in death. I mean, your spirit and your free will go with you. You don't change. I think that mentality or spirit that you had when you're living is still there. It's still mean and nasty. So, to build with mean and nasty, we're gonna give you mean and nasty. But that's just, that just fits the moment. Like you said, other moments call for other things. Like you said, we're on the battlefield this past weekend. I was screaming out there in the middle of Pickett's. We're in Pickett's Charge all by ourselves, not a single soul around, nobody, no cars, no nothing. And I'm yelling. You can just hear this echo going through the trees. It was so cool. But think how big that place. That's just one part of the battlefield. It's freaking, 20, 30 acres, right there. It's massive. And so I'm not going to talk to a guy a mile away if I'm whispering. I want to get a hold of him. So that's why we do that. And that we get asked that. Oh, how come y'all yell? I don't like it when you yell at the ghost. You're so disrespectful. It's like, well, that's not why we yell.
So you've started something new, not having to do with the paranormal, but you started something that's your new venture that you're doing, kind of with some fishing and all. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I've always been a big outdoorsman, hunter, fisherman. Grew up fishing. My uncle, Brad and I used to drive down on a Trailways bus with my grandma to visit my uncle down the Rio Grande Valley, way down almost to Mexico, and we used to go fishing down there. And that's that. He kind of got me into it, but I've always loved it. Um, there's two things I'm involved in. One is I see the link going across. That's an organization called Cast for Kids. That's actually a nationwide organization. They take big groups of 40 special needs kids fishing, and so they through fundraising, through donations, the child they get their own fishing pole, they get a tackle box, they get fed, they get a T-shirt, they get a cap, and they get to catch fish, and they get to ride on a boat sometimes. So it's for the kid and their family. The whole family can come. So we do an event every year that I'm the coordinator for. The head guy lives here near me, but I coordinate my own event through his charity every year. And our next one is this Saturday, actually, October 16th. And that link going across right there, what you can do, that's our event. There's two events that day. Mine's in the PM. The other one's in the AM. You can go to that link right there. And if you scroll to the bottom, it'll say donate. You can actually donate towards it. $1, $5, whatever you want to give. And we raised $3,500. Each event, it costs about $3,500 to do because we have to buy all the shirts. We got to buy all the rods and reels. We got to do all the stuff through sponsors. But every little bit helps. And so whatever money's left over, it actually goes to the next event next year. And so I keep a running tally in our account for each event. But the kid, it's crazy. We stock a little area of about 800 catfish, and they rope it off. Texas Parks and Wildlife comes out, they stock it, and the kids go nuts. I mean, some of these kids have never seen a lake. They've never even seen a fish. And then when they catch their fish, they are going just ballistic, crazy, laughing. Their parents are crying. It's just a really, really big deal because a lot of these kids, they don't have many success stories. They're, severely autistic, Down syndrome, traumatic brain injuries, cerebral palsy, all sorts of diseases and disabilities that doesn't allow them to be able to do that. And what's cool is the parents. I mean, these parents, you imagine living their lives, taking care of a child with these severe needs. It gives them a little bit of a break, come out there. We have volunteers. The volunteers take the kid. The parent just kind of chills out on a lawn chair, does what they want. And we take care of the kid. We catch the fish and we take care of them for 3 hours of fishing. And the parents just flood us with email. Man, I cannot believe this is the greatest day of my life. I would never thought my kid would be able to do this. But so that's Cast for Kids. And like I said, it's coming up this Saturday. That link that's scrolling across the bottom, that is the link for this coming Saturday's event. You can check it out. You don't have to donate if you don't want to, but you can kind of look at what we do. There's some pictures of a lot of the kids are my students. I'm a special ed teacher. A lot of people don't know that. I teach special ed PE. So a lot of these kids that go to this particular event are my own students. So I get to see them out there in kind of a non-school atmosphere, kind of see them in the outdoors and get them to know them a little better. And some of these kids they're crack you up, and you'll learn a lot. A lot of my volunteers walk away going, wow, I that was an eye opener. I'll be back next year. I just can't, when you give your time to somebody, we take our lives for granted. Go step in these kids' shoes for 2 hours, 3 hours, see what they deal with. I mean, Mike, you kind of test that with, having your disability and the things that you go through and the kids that you work with. We have it easy. We complain. What are you complaining about? Like last day, I was stuck in Baltimore for 5 hours because of the Southwest airline thing. But I said, you know what? I wrote some stuff on Facebook. Then I sat back and like, what's 5 hours of my life? Whatever. I'm safe. I'm in this airport. I'm hanging out with my son. Or just make the best of it. But these kids can't say that. But put a pole in their hand and catch a fish, it just changes their world. So that's Cast for Kids. The other thing I have going, I actually wore my fishing shirt. I knew you were going to ask me some fishing questions. But I started actually several years ago. I had the idea. It's called Salvation Outfitters, and what it is similar to Cast for Kids, but what we do is ours is more one-on-one. So we will take a one kid and their family, or one veteran in a family, or one Gold Star family and their siblings, or maybe it's an orphan, maybe it's a terminally ill patient that wants to go fishing. So it's kind of anybody and everybody that deserves a break. They deserve a trip to go fishing. And so what we do is we raise money also. And you can see right there, that's our Venmo account. You just, if you want to send money, we actually just got our 501c3, so we are a nonprofit officially, so you can write it off on your taxes now. But we take out these specialized individual trips. I took a blind kid actually. I don't think you've seen the video. I put the video out on my Salvation Outfitters page. He's totally blind. He's he's one of my students. Took him down to the stock pond. And man, he caught his first cast. He caught about a 16-pound catfish, and that kid was like, could not believe it. He was laughing and giggling, and just he couldn't believe it. He's totally blind, and he has the best attitude I've ever seen in any kid, probably any adult. He doesn't bother him. He's totally blind, can't see nothing. Never seen what a fish looks like. He doesn't know what water looks like. He doesn't know what a cow is. And so I'm describing all this stuff as he's out there fishing. And we caught probably 20 fish that day. Took another kid out here a while back. He's my neighbor. Actually, he has a lot of heart issues. He's also went out and caught a bunch of fish. We have my cousin is involved in it up near Abilene. He's planning a veterans kayak fishing trip. I have two guys that help me out in Dallas. They have a veteran that they're taking out. I've hooked up with Gary Yamamoto, he's probably, if you're familiar with fishing, he makes a bait called Yamamoto baits. It's a very famous bait. He has a private ranch in Texas. Him and his wife has reached their hands out to us and let us come out there for free. So it's all about we're not trying to get big and huge and raise a bunch of money and it's very personal. I handpick these people. If people email me, we can go that route. But a lot of these kids are people I know or we know. Just to start out, but Salvation Outfitters has, we have our logos, the Ithacus fish. It's a faith-based type organization. We're not Bible thumpers. We're not just shouting the gospel at you or anything. But we're just trying to show you, bringing back the morale, the morals, and the good deeds and the kindness and all that back into the world. And we do it through the hunting and fishing sport. So it's kind of a unique sport because one time you're alone with somebody and you have nowhere to go. There's a lot of places we go in the middle of nowhere. It's like, you're gonna have to listen to me. I get you stuck in a deer blind in a 4x4 box. You're gonna have to listen to me. But it's a lot of just having a good time and showing them that there's hey, there are things. There's a break in the troubles you have in your life. There are things you can do to take a break from that. We just want to give you a little bit, just a little smidgen of a look at, just letting your stuff go, letting your fears go, have a good time. And we do the same thing. We feed them. We give them the rod and reels. We give them like hats and shirts and all that good stuff. But ours is different. It's very personal. You can go to Salvation Outfitters, our Facebook page. Just look up Salvation Outfitters, and we have video. We actually filmed a little episode with Atticus, is his name, the blind kid. Atticus Diggs. I thought he had the coolest name, but and his grandfather gives a testimonial. He was there with us and what it's all about. And Brad, Brad didn't edit that one. We had another guy, a friend of mine, edit it, but it came out real good. We actually Tina Turner's. Well, it's Ike Turner. If you're that, Ike Turner and Tina Turner. It's Ike Turner's daughter. Is the one that wrote, and her husband wrote that song that's on that video. We're friends with them, and they're actually supporters of Salvation Outfitters. So if you have it in your heart, go to @Salvations-Outfitters. That's our Venmo. You can give money to it if you like. If not, just go to our Facebook page, check it out. What we do, a lot of cool videos on there, some pictures on there, things like that. It'll get you inspired at least to maybe you go out and start fishing yourself. But fishing, it's just a way to unwind and get away from. My whole family fishes. We go down the coast all the time, and just it's just our way of just getting away from everything.
I think it's awesome. I've been on that.
I've been on your Facebook page with that. Watched the videos, and they're kind of like some of the ones that Mike does too with these kids. They're pretty touching.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I applaud you guys for doing stuff like that, because taking these kids out and spending some time with the kids, because they wouldn't get that chance if it was people like yourself.
Yeah, Brad actually went to the when we took Atticus out. He actually went and he filmed it, and we did all the audio. But Brad's hunting and fish.
Hello, like this is
God dang, what was that?
Got to
His
turn the alarm
phone.
clock off.
I was like, my skin jumped. But Brad's never, he is not. He's like my dad. My dad's idea of roughing it was no room service at the hotel. He was a city boy, but he always made sure that he bought me guns. He bought me fishing tackle. He always made sure that I had the things I want to do, because that's what I enjoy. Brad, he does it here and there, but he's more of the city slicker. He's up in Boston right now, actually.
Oh yeah,
He had
You make that
he went to
trip quite a bit.
Boston. Yeah, he went to Boston from Baltimore. He's up there till Friday.
I think it's awesome what you're doing. It's really cool, and congrats on the 501c3, because I know it is not easy to get that status.
Yeah, we had we had some volunteers that they helped out, and I didn't do it myself. But yeah, I used to run another similar charity years ago. It's kind of similar, and it is hard, man. It's especially if you come back. But I was surprised, but I got the letter, and it's all right. Yeah, you're good. I was a lot of times it's, hey, we need this, we need that. You forgot this. Here's your letter. Here's your number. All right, see you. I'm like, all right, that'll work. So yeah, we're good to go now. Now we can kind of go after the big money, I guess.
Well, it makes it, like you said, it makes it a lot easier for anybody to donate, because they can take it off their taxes where they couldn't do that before.
It also makes you look legit. A lot of times when you're out asking for, you're like, well, no, I'm not a 501c, But now this makes it, hey, we are legit. It is a legit deal, and so it makes it easier for people to want to give.
Yeah, I had so much trouble when I first started the charity. While we were in the process, you ask for help with something. I'm doing an event. Can we get donations to do this? Come back when you get the status and we'll talk.
Right. It helps out a lot for sure.
It does, yeah.
Well, before we wrap up, this one kind of came in after the fact there. Well, so I'll let you see if you've done anything with that, or if you've at all.
Never really done anything with that. Yeah, I don't have an answer for that really.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people that have tried it, had good results. Richard Estep's a friend of both of ours, that he did that here at the theater and had some incredible results with.
What did he actually do?
They had the headphones on somebody, and had the ghost box, spirit box hooked up to it, to headphones, and they were asking questions. And in fact, and the story here at the theater, but the one of the questions that Richard asked, he said, "So if you're here with us, what's your name?" And she said she couldn't hear his questions. She was just listening to basically what came through the spirit box.
Right.
And when he asked, if you're here with us, what's your name? The name John came through. She said John, and he said, "Okay, John, where'd you come from?" And a voice said, "Hell." So here in the building, that was kind of interesting when they're asking those questions and that comes up like that.
I think it's a interesting way to do it. It's kind of like thinking outside the box, which Brad and I were all about. I think it's a cool technique. My only thing with Ghostbox, to me, it's so easy to hear. I mean, unless someone comes and says John, I mean, it's very clear. But to me, it's just so much garbage also coming across that you just eventually it's the the laws of averages. You're going to hear something. I don't know. Like I said, I think it's a cool deal, especially with the headphones. You really can't hear the other person asking the questions.
Right.
It gives it validity. I know on some of the TV shows they do it. That's the first where I kind of saw that happen, but it's definitely interesting. But I've never done it, so I can't speak to it if I haven't done it. We actually just witnessed table tipping this weekend. That was it was an experience for sure. I mean, we went into it very skeptical, very skeptical. We filmed the whole thing, and I'm not saying it is or not, but there was some very strange. I can't explain some things that happened. Let's put it that way. That's gonna be one of our video things that comes out here shortly. Is kind of about that and our experience with it. But we left scratching our heads. I mean, Brad and I have always been kind of hard on psychics and mediums in the past, but there's been a couple that have left me scratching my head, going, maybe there is something to. I don't know, but this experience was one of those experiences. Like, the jury's still out. I can't say yes or no that it was fraud or it was actually real, because Brad and I did it ourselves with nobody on it. We did it by ourselves and it moved. And so I know we weren't moving it. I mean, in fact, there's a time that our fingers weren't even on the table, and we got it on documented on film. And so can't explain it. I don't know. This is just a very strange experience. And we did it for 2.5 hours almost, and it didn't move an inch. For 2.5 hours we did it. Constantly moved to different places and different tables, and if we'd never seen it, we want to experience it. And then at the end, it did it, and it was like, whoa.
And then you guys were in Gettysburg, weren't you? Jim was asking.
We're actually at Waynesboro. We're at a place called the 1912 Hoover House. If you know Pam and Steve Barry from the Ghost Exchange at Gettysburg, they used to own the Lookout House. Last year we were at the Lookout House, but they are not there anymore. Now they bought this house called the Hoover House, which is in Waynesboro. It's about 30 so miles from Gettysburg. But they own the Ghost Exchange in Gettysburg. They sell equipment, and they're kind of in the spiritualism type movement, Reiki and metaphysical things, table tipping, things like that. But they're also into the science. They sell ghost boxes. They sell equipment at this store on Main Street, Gettysburg. So they're kind of from both worlds, and they have psychic friends and they have science friends. So it's kind of a little bit of both, but super nice people. Their house is awesome. It's an old nursing home, huge, got 5 bedrooms. It's a bed and breakfast. You can stay there. That does have activity. But it was a cool experience. First time we've ever been there.
That's cool. So you guys got, before you let you go, I got to ask you one question, because she's coming on next week. We've got Katie from Ghost Lab is going to be on next week. So is there any little question or anything that we could, he's already got it in mind. I can tell by the smile on his face. Is there anything that we should kind of mention to Katie just to get her going?
I haven't really, over the last 10, 11 years, I've maybe spoke to Katie 5 times. She did a little bit of a documentary with us a while back, about 2 or 3 years ago. But she's trying to make it into the film business. She's actually working on some as a PA on some film projects. Like she's on Trace Adkins' show that's coming up. She's going to Montana or Wyoming, one of the two, for like a month. But I always they always get shit with Katie because we lock her in some place and forget about her, which is true. We really did. Alcatraz, when she was in Alcatraz, we literally forgot about her. She was in the dungeons of Alcatraz by herself with a camcorder, and they called dinner call, and it was like 8 o'clock at night. Oh, food, let's go. And so we didn't think anything about it. We're sitting there eating, and all of a sudden you hear this crackling, Brad, come in. We're like, who's that? Oh shit, Katie's down there. But she was down that. If you ever been to Alcatraz in the dungeon, oh my god, probably the creepiest place in the world. Pitch black, can't even see it hanging in front of your face. Just people whispering in your ear as you go by, just nuts. And she's down there, little blonde girl, by herself for about an hour and a half, long time.
Oh wow,
and we totally forgot. But just, give her shit about that. We always leave her in the. And then also ask her about the story of her Miss Molly episode when she wore the bikini and got in the bathtub.
Hello, this is Shaq.
A couple of strange ones there, huh? So
yeah, so it was funny. She's so the thing was that people, when they take a bath, they get messed with at this bed and breakfast in Fort Worth, and hey, let's put Katie in the bathtub. So she got in her bikini, she got in the bathtub. And it was so funny because we're watching, from the Ghost Lab, and we're like, hey, where's the producer? Hey, every person in the crew was in the Ghost Lab watching her take a bath in her bikini. We're like, who's filming the damn show? It's like, we're all in the Ghost Lab. but
They had
it was pretty funny.
autopilot.
But
So,
yeah,
yeah,
she's a good sport. But yeah, she's excited about being back with us, and we're trying to get her moved back to Texas, but she hasn't given in yet. She's still out there in California.
Yep, enjoying the Sunshine State, but and with all the actors and everything out that way. So, but Mike, you got anything else?
I think we pretty much covered a lot of stuff. It's been awesome having you on. It's been a fun night, and I'll get to see you in December. So
Yeah,
Vegas,
we'll be in Vegas, baby. That'd be my first time ever going. I've been everywhere in the world. I haven't been to Vegas.
It'll be a fun weekend.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're also gonna be up with Robin here in about 2 weeks.
Yep.
Okay.
In the UP of Wisconsin.
Yeah, the Land of Lake,
That's
Lake, Wisconsin, up there, the butter country.
Yeah,
So,
we're looking forward to it. So
yeah,
I think that one's already sold out too.
yeah, the investigation sold out. Houdini show sold out. I think the Mystic Sisters they call them Mystic Sisters.
I think that's what it is.
The Psychic Sisters they sold out. So there's like 60 people going to the investigation. So
That was one thing I was going to say too, is that it seems like everything you guys do sells out.
Yeah,
So,
and I mean, I'll put a disclaimer. We don't put a lot of people at like this last one. We had 26 people. I think 10 of them actually stayed in the house, but it was sold out. We always put a mark on how many we were allowed. This Land O'Lakes sold out. We had another one just not too long ago sell out, but we try to do, like I said, it's all about the size. We say, oh, we could do 30 or we could do 20 or we can do 40. And we try to make it to where people aren't going to walk away with the bags. Oh, there's too many people there or, whatever. And we always have the disclaimer. This is an event. This is not a true to form investigation. But the way we run things, we do a lot of group stuff where we're all doing it together. We all go find a place to sit and we'll investigate together, or we'll, let's rotate here. Let's go. So we try to make it as much as an investigation as we possibly can, but we also make it fun and we do some fun things.
That's what I look at it. As long as people walk away and they had a good time, then it's been worthwhile for everybody.
Right.
Yep.
So, well, Barry, we'll let you go and sort of tie up your evening, and we appreciate you coming on and joining us out here.
I appreciate y'all. Y'all keep up the good work. And like I said, if you want to go to those links and donate, go for it. And be looking for us. So it's everydayparanormal.com is our website. The podcast will be on Halloween. On our Facebook, you'll see I'll start announcing where it's going to be. We'll also have our Instagram. We're horrible at social media. We just now got Instagram going back again and Twitter and all that good stuff. But we're going to, like I said, doing some stuff on YouTube shortly. TikTok. Actually, I wasn't kidding. We're going to be doing some TikTok stuff. So and what's cool, we have some people in the paranormal world that are helping us with the social media stuff. And so we have some, because we are horrible at that. That's probably our worst attribute, is doing the social media stuff and keeping up with it. So now we have some people in the mix that that's what they're gonna do for us. So it's a big team effort. Everyday Paranormal. We still have team members up in different parts of the country that are helping us. We have very big support fans around the world still. So we're hopefully going to be back. I know people are always saying, when's Ghost Lab coming back? I'm telling you right now, Ghost Lab is not coming back as Ghost Lab. We're going to come back bigger and better than Ghost Lab. So be watching.
Cool. Looking forward to it, and look forward to October 31st when you guys have that first podcast.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
We're excited, and I'll buy you your first beer up in Wisconsin.
Oh yeah, that's because he knows I don't drink.
Man, you're smart.
So, yeah, no doubt. Okay, well, you can buy me a butter milkshake or something, whatever they do up that way. So
there you go.
All right, thanks a lot
guys.
for coming on. Appreciate it.
I appreciate
Thanks again for being on with us.
No problem.
Thank
Later.
you.
See
Night,
ya.
Jerry.
Night.
Hey, it was great having him on.
Yeah, it's a fun night. It's cool. All kinds of information flowing.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of cool too. Is that next week we have Katie Burr, and then the week after we've got Brad. So we're gonna do like 3 weeks in a row. Just wipe out the Ghost Lab. We'll get them all on here and talk to them and have a good time with them. So. But then also, if you as always, just want to help out the Lost Limbs Foundation, you can get a hold of them at their website, contact, give them a call there, or email Mike and he can take care of things for you and help you out with that too.
Yep.
And then we did start our own YouTube channel, so you can go to LLF Radio, subscribe to that. We'll have the episodes up there. You can also check them out on our regular pages too, with Rhodes Hotel, the Lost Limbs Foundation Radio, Paranormal Chat Network, that Facebook page, or Ashmore State's Facebook page. We've got them all on those too. So different places you can catch them. You can call Crystal, harass Crystal. When I don't know why, but when Barry was talking about Katie being stuck in a cell in the bottom of there and forgetting about her, Crystal was running through my head.
I don't know why, but like it kind of, in the back of my mind, it kind of just like, wait, how does that seem familiar? Like
that sounds like something Chad and I might do to Crystal or something. You
yeah.
So.
I could see it.
And it's not too early to book for 2022 at Rhodes Hotel or Ashmore State, either one. You want to get out there and book
Very
that.
True. Yes.
And then if you haven't gone in and liked our page on Ashmore States, please do. What I'm going to do is that if we hit 10,000, and I think we're like 130 short or something like that.
Close.
So if we hit 10,000, it's close. I'm going to add an extra $1,000 onto the birthday fundraiser that we do later in December. So we need about 130 or so, I think is what it is left. So, jump on there and help us out with that.
Yeah, run over to Ashmore State's page and follow it now.
Yeah, like it so we can get that in there and taken care of. So
go like the page. Yeah.
But other than that, next week we got Katie Burr coming from Ghost Lab, and they're looking forward to it. So it'll be fun.
Yep. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
And I will see you Thursday, and then we're up to Fort Wayne on Friday.
Yep. Got to put up with each other all weekend.
and then your sister.
Yeah. Then there's Crystal. Yep.
So
well, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Follow, like Robin said, go to the YouTube page, follow that, subscribe to it, whatever. Yeah, subscribe to it on there. Go to Ashmore States, follow that, and get us to that 10,000 for Ashmore States, and it's going to help the charity out even more. And follow the page for the show if you guys enjoy the show, and we appreciate it. And we're going to talk to you again next week.
Yep, we'll be on next week. So with that, Mike, I will see you Thursday, and then
I'll see you Thursday. Sounds good. See you then.
Night, everybody.
My name is Mike, and I'm the founder of the Lost Limbs Foundation. The Lost Limbs Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that provides assistance to amputee children in need of prosthetics. I started the charity after my own struggles after my leg being amputated just above the knee. Prosthetics cost thousands of dollars, and the average lifespan is 5 to 7 years on a prosthetic. Kids are constantly growing, so they'll go through multiple prosthetics throughout their life. This is the prosthetic leg that I use, and the cost was about $70,000. The Rhodes Hotel is in Atlanta, Indiana, and is owned and operated by the Lost Limbs Foundation. We are currently doing photo shoots, ghost hunts, and special events to help raise money for the charity. For more information, you can go to lostlimbsfoundation.org. With your help, we can help these kids one step at a time.